All right, good morning, friends. I know it's probably not morning where you are, but it's morning here, so I'm going to go with that. Today is episode 5 of Beginning Hand Tool Woodworking, and we are going to work on skill number 8, or as Otto Saloman calls it, exercise number 8, which is edge planing a board. Now, the definition of edge planing is flattening a board that is narrower than the width of the iron. If it's wider than that, it becomes face planing, but we're going to do edge planing. Now, this is a piece of American holly, came down in a storm, and I split this out. So you can see it's pretty rough on all sides. I think I'm going to use this to practice my skills in milling boards, but today we're going to do edge planing, and we're going to see what we can do about getting one side perfectly flat. So let's get that clamp down in the vise. Now, in the handbook, Saloman actually calls it triplaning or trying a board. What in the world does triplaning mean, or using a triplane? The only explanation I've heard that makes any sense is it's a derivation of the phrase tried and true, meaning that we have proved something to be flat or perfect, and therefore the triplane is what you would use to do that. Now, in his book, he actually uses a plane that looks very similar to this. This would be considered a jack plane. This one, the irons were not in good shape at all when I got this out of an antique shop, so got some work to do to get that one working. But I do have this one over here, which is a jointer plane. So this is normally would be used after this rough planing to get your final surfaces perfectly smooth. But we could at least use this to demonstrate. With the wooden type plane, you would actually stand facing directly on, take your hand in this orientation, so thumb facing you, fingers over there. Let me get my coffee out of the way. And then you would work in this direction. You can see we're starting to get some wider shavings now. All right, already getting a nice smooth surface there. You can see how the bark is starting to come off. So that's one method, using the wooden plane or triplane. I actually prefer going with the metal plane. This is a Stanley number 5 that came out of a tool haul. Now, this is not the finished surface now. This is what we're trying to do, is get a rough board flat. So now you're going to stand a little bit behind it so you get some good momentum going there. We're getting some smoothings. We're going to advance the plane or the iron just a little bit. Got some smoothing there. See, that part is very smooth. We still got some rough area here. Now we're starting to get full width shavings there, but I still got a pocket here we got to work on. See how over here, this is now getting much smaller. Still got a low spot here, low spot there, but the rest of it is actually feeling pretty good. I don't have my wax with me, but a little bit of wax on the bottom would actually help this go a little bit smoother, but we are almost there. Now this holly, it's actually very difficult to read the grain. Remember in past videos, we've talked about going with the grain as opposed to against the grain, supported versus unsupported. This holly is such a fine grained material that it's a little bit difficult to know where the grain is really going, but so far, I'm taking out this low spot here. Just got a little bit left there to get down to our full depth. I had never worked with holly before this tree came down during the storm. This is actually from one of the larger branches that I have. I'm really enjoying the texture of it. I guess the downside is when you work holly, when it's nice and fresh, it works really well, but once it's dried out, and this is true for a lot of boards, that once it dries out, it can be a little difficult to work. But I love the look and feel of it. All right, so that is edge planing a board. Remember, the key point here is the board has to be narrower than the iron itself. When we were getting it down to final dimensions, there's some other techniques there. Also do want to note though, just because this is flat does not mean that it's complete, because if you notice here, there is nothing to tell us it's parallel, nothing parallel there. So we're going to work on that in future episodes where we're going to do face planing, and then eventually we'll do squaring. So that's it for episode number 5. Take care. God bless.